All right, today we're diving into something that is thousands of years old, deeply sacred to many, but it's also at the center of a fierce scientific debate. We're talking about the consumption of cow urine. It's a topic that sits right at this wild intersection of faith, tradition, and public health. So let's get into it.
And if you're thinking this is just some fringe practice in a remote village, well, think again. Products containing cow urine, which is known as gomutra, are actually commercially available. They're bottled up and sold in markets from its heartland in India all the way to shops in London. So yeah, this is not just some historical curiosity. It's a living, global phenomenon.
So, to really wrap our heads around the controversy, we have to go back to its roots. Why is cow urine considered so special in the first place? Well, it all starts with the sacred status of the cow in Hinduism.
And this really gets to the core belief. In Hinduism, the cow isn't just an animal. It's a powerful symbol of life and divinity. And because of that, the belief is that everything it produces is filled with this special kind of purity, something capable of cleansing both the body and the soul.
This belief is actually formalized in a sacred mixture called Panchagavya. The name itself literally means 5 products of the cow, and it is a cornerstone of many Hindu rituals. It's used in ceremonies with the belief that it brings health and purity to anyone who partakes in it.
So, what's in it? Well, here are the 5 key ingredients. You've got milk, curd, ghee, which is basically clarified butter, dung, and of course, cow urine or gomutra. As you can see, it's a fundamental component, not just some afterthought.
This ritual use is tied directly to a long history of medicinal claims. For centuries, cow urine hasn't just been for purification ceremonies. It's been actively promoted as a cure.
And this is not a recent invention. We're talking about ancient texts like the Damar Tantra and foundational Ayurvedic manuscripts that describe using urine for both physical and mental health. This practice has been woven into both daily life and formal rituals for generations.
And that, of course, brings us to the inevitable critical question. With all of this deep history and tradition, where does modern science stand? What happens when you take these ancient claims and put them under the microscope?
Okay, this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. We're shifting from ancient texts to modern laboratories where researchers have started to analyze these traditional beliefs with some serious scientific rigor.
A key study on this comes from a very credible source, the Indian Veterinary Research Institute. They conducted a peer-reviewed study to directly investigate the composition of cow urine and test those long-held claims of its purity and medicinal properties.
And their #1 finding was completely unambiguous. You know that popular belief that urine is sterile? Well, their analysis showed that fresh cow urine is anything but. This directly challenges one of the foundational claims of the whole practice. And what's more, the samples contained potentially harmful bacteria. We're talking about the well-known E. coli, which is a common cause of really serious stomach infections. The researchers concluded that consuming it poses a direct health risk.
So we have 2 completely different stories here, the ancient tradition and the modern lab results. Let's just put them side by side to see how stark this contrast really is.
This table really lays out the conflict. The claim that it purifies the body, science finds no basis for that, and instead points to a risk of infection. The claim that it treats major diseases like cancer, there's zero substantiation, only evidence of harmful bacteria. And its use in Ayurveda? Well, mainstream medicine labels these health claims as unproven and, frankly, pseudoscientific.
This clash between belief and evidence isn't just some academic debate. It has very real-world consequences, creating a huge public controversy that involves health, politics, and regulation.
The scientific findings have been echoed by a whole range of groups. You see criticism from rationalist organizations, scientific bodies, and mainstream doctors. Even international health regulators have weighed in, highlighting the potential dangers. Let's go back to those shops in London for a second. This shows the regulatory tightrope they're walking. You can find cow urine sold and labeled for religious use, but selling it for human consumption, that's flat out prohibited by environmental health laws, precisely because of the risks we've just been talking about.
And unfortunately, this controversy has spilled over into the political arena. The practice has been weaponized in sectarian rhetoric, used to mock or denigrate entire communities, adding this really toxic social layer to the scientific debate.
So we're left with this really fundamental question.
On one hand, you have a sacred tradition that's deeply meaningful to millions. On the other, you have clear scientific evidence of potential harm. It really forces us to ask, when an ancient belief collides head-on with modern evidence, who gets to draw the line between culture and public safety?